Today's episode is going to be a check-in and going to kind of recenter and realign you with the 2-week challenge that you were given in last week's episode. So you should be 1 week into your 2-week self-love, self-acceptance challenge, and you might be hitting some rough spots. So I'm going to essentially help you through those today, give you some healthy reminders, and get you recentered in this, okay? So if you have not listened to the last episode, it's titled Stop Fucking Ignoring Yourself. Go listen to that. Go lock in your challenge. And after you're a week into your 2-week challenge, come back and listen to this episode, okay? Because this is going to give you your reality check and a little bit of a deeper sense into a couple things, and it'll be very useful when you're a week into the challenge. One thing that I want to clarify is last week I mentioned self-prioritization, and I basically said that you should take some time to do one thing for yourself before you go do things for other people throughout your day. Maybe the first thing you do in the morning, you do for yourself. And I wanted to go a little bit deeper into why, because if you're doing things that self-help people are telling you to do, and you don't understand why you're doing it, you're basically just blindly following instruction, and you're not going to get the same thing out of it as you're going to get if you deeply understand and emotionally connect to the purpose behind why what you're doing, you are doing. So, the purpose behind this, self-love for me right now in life, my current understanding and description of it is that it has everything to do with your ability to prioritize yourself fully and completely before prioritizing other people. It sounds selfish, but it's literally not. It is how you can't pour from an empty cup, right? So you need to fill your own cup first. And then simultaneously with that, it has everything to do with accepting yourself as is and not judging yourself as is, even if you have things that you're working on or would like to change, okay? And there's a way to feel like you have things you want to change without judging or criticizing and without viewing them as bad or allowing them to be something that affects your levels of self-love, okay? So, because self-love has so much to do, self-image has so much to do with prioritizing yourself first. The challenge to self-prioritize is to help you get in the habit of putting yourself first. This is really important for people pleasers. This is really important for stay-at-home moms who are constantly prioritizing other people 24 fucking 7. This is really important for business owners who are waking up and clocking in rather than taking time to sit in the sun with their coffee. This is really important for caretakers and people who are running households, taking care of families. The list goes on. This is important for everyone. So we oftentimes wake up and start prioritizing other people. We oftentimes wake up and prioritize our 9 to 5 or whatever it is, right? So start noticing, what do you prioritize when you wake up? Oftentimes it's easiest to get out of bed when I have someone who needs me. You know what I mean? So how can you be the thing that needs you and fill your own cup? And it can be very, very simple. Maybe you make yourself a cup of tea or a cup of coffee and you take 5 minutes to just be alone and breathe and enjoy the fresh air or enjoy the being alone moment. Maybe you want to take a shower before you engage with people. Maybe you want to take a few minutes to pick a really cute outfit and take a mirror selfie. It can be very, very simple. It can also be more intense where it's like, maybe today I'm actually leaving the house and I'm going to a Pilates class or I'm going to a yoga class before I come home and make breakfast for the family or clock in and start working, whatever it is, right? So it can be minor, it can be extravagant, it can be, I'm going to read a page of my book before I take a shower because I hate showers, but I love reading, right? So it's just prioritizing yourself in small, small, small ways. And I really want to ingrain in you that when you prioritize yourself above everything else, you start to create a program in your head that says, I'm important, I'm valuable, I matter to myself, my needs will be taken care of, I can take care of myself. And what this does is this builds self-trust between you and all of your parts, your inner children, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, right? So there's a lot of benefits that come from teaching your mind and your body that they can depend on you and that you will care for them and prioritize them. This is also really, really important and incredible for survivors of trauma, people who suffer from PTSD, anxiety, depression, mental health issues, because what this does is this tells your nervous system that you are safe, that you're not going to be ignored, that you're a priority, that you'll be taken care of, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So while you might think I'm just doing something simple because Danielle told me to, what you're also doing is reprogramming your brain and reprogramming your nervous system. You are teaching your body and all of your parts that you're safe and that you will take care of yourself and that you're not going to continue discarding yourself and helping other people at the expense of yourself. And that is extremely valuable when it comes to repairing the relationship with self, repairing the relationship with self-love, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So I hope that that background offers you a little bit more information as to like why you would want to be self-prioritizing. So the next thing that I want to talk about is really understanding and resonating with the fact that you are not something to be fixed. It is so easy to get caught in that mindset. I mentioned this in the last episode, and I realized that it might not fully be landing in everyone's head. And so I want to kind of recenter you in that and give you a little bit more background on it. So let's start by understanding that we need to get out of the mindset that it can be better. Right? We so often live in the mindset of I could be better, life could be better, or my experience could be better, my mood could be better, my mental health could be better. And when we're constantly in that mindset, we are striving for better rather than striving to enjoy the present. There is no such thing as the future. There's no such thing as the past. You only have the right here, the right now, right? And so if you're living in the present and constantly striving for the better future, you're not actually present, nor are you in the future, nor will you ever reach that magical future that you're pedestaling. It doesn't exist, and you're not going to achieve it by wanting it, right? Because if you want something, the law of opposing forces, I think, is the law that would then push it away. Like it literally doesn't work that way. So for example, a few weeks ago, I was being really, really hard on myself about money. I was like, I need to do this. I need to do that. I need to bring in more money like this. I need to be focused on that. And I'm being so hard on myself, basically telling myself also that I'll be happy when I'm making more money. I will be less stressed when I'm making more money. And then I started thinking about it. And I was like, okay, what if someone from the angelic realm, someone from the beyond, came down and magically appeared in front of me right now and said, you will never achieve that level of income. You will always struggle to make money. You will never, ever, ever have what you want financially. You will always feel like you're fighting tooth and nail to pay your bills. How would you respond? And I took a second and I really thought about it. And I was like, holy shit, I can breathe. If someone said to me right now, it will never get any better than this, all the pressure would suddenly be off. I wouldn't be pressuring myself to do better and create more content and make more money. I would just be in acceptance. I would be in ease and flow, knowing that I cannot change this current reality. This is what life is. The only reason that I'm stressed, the only reason that I'm not happy is because I have this mindset that says it gets better. But what if it doesn't? What if this is happiness? What if this is everything you're meant for? Now, I'm not saying that it is. I'm just used this tool as a way to shift my mindset, right? It would be incredible for it to get better. It meaning anything and everything. Emotions, finances, mental health, your housing situation, your relationship, whatever. It would be incredible for it to get better. But what if it didn't? What if you were told right now that this is as good as life gets? It would take the pressure off. You would be like, okay, well, I have a choice now. I can live this life in misery that this is not what I wanted and it's never ever going to change. Or I could focus on accepting that this is my reality, this is my life, this is as good as it gets, and I could find happiness in that. Some people are going to choose misery, but after a few years, they will end up choosing acceptance. 9 times out of 10. Some people never will, and that's okay. That's the frequency they're on in this life. That's where they need to be. Those are the lessons that they need to learn and the experiences that they need to have. They are no better or worse. You are no better or worse. We are all on our own journey, right? So, to be able to recognize if it never got any better and I was told right now that I didn't have to try to achieve what I want, that I'll just literally never have it, It just takes all the pressure off. And suddenly I can just find happiness and acceptance and gratitude for where I am. Because if I stop envisioning this magical future that I so desperately want, and I just focus on and accept the fact that this is my future, this is my life, this is success, this is why I came here, I can take a deep breath and relax. And I hope that you can too. So that was the tool that I used to root to the concept of happiness in the present moment, and root to the concept of acceptance in the present moment, and root to the concept of I don't need to be so hard on myself. There's nothing to change. There's nothing to fix. I can just accept things as they are. Now, again, we mentioned this in the first episode. I will mention it again. We're not going to stay here. We're not going to stay in a state of acceptance for everything all the time forever. I promise you, we will move forward and we will move into tools to shift things and change your life and achieve the things that you want, okay? We're not going to accept our reality as it is and then just live life from not our full potential. We're going to reach our full potential, don't you worry. But the problem that we struggle with that really ruins and defeats our self-love is when we're saying to ourselves, I'm not living my full potential and I need to do that. It's like you're threatening yourself. Like, stop it. Just find some acceptance. Find some acceptance. So we're starting with acceptance, and don't worry, in the future, we will move on from that. So hopefully that helps re-ground you in the concept that you are not something to be fixed. Stop taking too much responsibility for your reality and just accept the fact that you are where you are, and that's okay, and that's amazing. I'm going to give you one more tool for this. If you're struggling to accept the fact that your reality is perfect the way that it is and find acceptance for your reality, whether it's your mental and emotional reality or your physical reality, I want to remind you that you have the power to do anything you want. You have free will. You can leave that relationship. You can sell all your shit and go road trip. You can quit your job. You have free will. You can do whatever you want. And I want you to remember that instead of giving your power away to the system or to your relationships or to the people in your life. For the emotional things and the physical, I want you to also use this tool of, this is the thing that I want. Like, list something. I want to be happy. Okay, great. If my current circumstances were to never change, how would I find a way to achieve that thing that I want anyways? Well, if my current circumstances never changed, I would learn how to budget better so that I can buy the things that I want to buy and also still pay my bills. Or maybe I would move somewhere cheaper and change my location, because what would really make me happy is having money to dye my hair every month, right? So you will start to make a list of, this is the thing that I want, and if life never changed, how would I still find a way to connect to that? And that can sort of help you find the perfection in your current circumstances and really start to root to the fact that there's nothing to change. If you're watching on YouTube right now, you can see my cat very slowly trying to work her way into my lap. And this is what she does when she knows I'm busy. And she's like, can I please join you just a little bit, very slowly? All right, we got to move her. She ran away. Okay, now that excursion is over, I want to hit you with a heavy and powerful reminder. If you want to change your reality, you cannot do so from a place of self-hatred, self-judgment, or resistance, okay? So that is why I'm telling you, you have to first start with self-love and self-acceptance. And I promise I'm going to explain a little bit more. Remember last episode, I said, it's not that like you'll love yourself when you change your reality. It's that you'll change your reality when you love yourself, okay? You're not going to change your reality from a place of resistance. You're going to change your reality from a place of acceptance, okay? I think a lot of us who have been through big, deep transformations know that the most change happens when we finally throw our hands up, we hit rock bottom, we say, all right, that's it, Jesus, take the wheel. Universe, I trust you. I obviously have no fucking power here. What are you going to do? And suddenly the universe starts transforming our circumstances. Right? So it has a lot more to do with acceptance and releasing the illusion of control than it does with forcefully trying to change things under the threat of, I need to achieve this thing or else, right? To go a little deeper, I want you to think about this. What is the current theme in your reality? The answer is not liking it, right? There are aspects of your reality that you don't like, okay? And no matter what you do, you change this, you adopt this mindset, you get this new job, you still don't like your reality. You still want something bigger, better, and different, right? So here's that thing, not liking it and your external reality, those are changing variables. You can change this, you can change that, and you still don't like it. But the one variable that's never changing, it's always present in every moment of your reality is you. But you haven't stopped to question, why are you the common denominator? You are the common denominator. You're the one thing that's there through all the changes that aren't getting you what you want, that aren't making you achieve the emotional state of happiness, peace, or regulation that you want to experience. I point this out not for you to be like, damn, so I'm the problem. No, I'm simply pointing this out to say that you cannot change your reality into something that you like or something that you love if you hate the very thing that is creating it. That's you. If you don't love yourself and you're blaming yourself and criticizing yourself, you cannot be the thing that creates what you want, right? That would be like loving milk but hating cows. You can't stand cows. You want all the cows to do better. You want all the cows to like go lay down and just fuck off. You don't want them to be even seen. You don't want them, but cows need to go outside. They need to graze. They need sunshine, whatever it is. And because the cow's not being nurtured, it's not producing its milk. Like, hello? So if you're not nurturing yourself, you're not going to be able to produce the reality that you want to experience. If you're hating yourself, the milk's going to be shit, bro. Like, it's just as simple as that. So we are starting with self-love and we're starting with acceptance as is because we're done hating the cow. We're going to learn how to love the cow. And then once we start getting milk, we can start learning how to make chocolate milk. We can start learning how to froth milk. We can start learning how to fucking put that shit in an espresso. We can learn how to make fucking ice cream. Like, we can do all kinds of shit, but we need to nurture the cow first, okay? I seriously hope that that makes sense. So, there's another thing that I want to express to you, and this is going to be giving value to thoughts and emotions. This is something that we do all the time. We do this on a daily basis. Let's say, for example, that you are working a job that you don't love. In fact, you kind of hate it. You hate your current position, but you know that if you can keep your shit together, if you can act right, you're going to get promoted in 3 months. But you need to keep it together, and it's really fucking hard. So every time that you think about going off on a customer, every time that you have a nasty thought about your job, every time that you think about not going into work or telling off your boss or just fucking clocking out and being done, every time you think about jeopardizing that promotion that's coming, you judge it, right? You're like, I fucking hate this job. And then you're like, oh, okay, that's not helpful. Like, this is taking me somewhere that I want to be. So let's not think like that. Let's think more positively. Okay, what you just did is you just said to yourself that the original thought of I fucking hate my job was a bad thought. Why is that a bad thought? Why is that a bad thought? I'm not happy in my relationship. Okay, why is that a bad thought? I really miss this one person who I've been avoiding. Okay, why is that a bad thought? Because you're placing value on it. Well, if I call them, then they're going to start talking to me again and I'm going to fall back into their arms. Well, if I think these bad thoughts about my boss and my job, then suddenly I'm going to be in a negative vibration. Like, whatever it is, it's like, okay, stop giving it value and instead start accepting it and witnessing it for what it is. The same way that the person who would choose misery over learning how to accept that their circumstances will never get better, the same way that that person is no better or worse than you, that's just where they are in life. That's just the vibrational frequency that they're living from. That's just what they need to experience in this incarnation. It's the same as your thoughts. They are no better or worse than other thoughts. None of your thoughts are good and none of your thoughts are bad. They are all neutral. They are all balanced. I'm the queen of threatening myself, right? So obviously, since my breakup, I've been very focused on trying to achieve self-love and emotional independence. I was with my ex for 6.5 years, and before that, I was always in relationships. This is the longest I've ever been single. And so for me, achieving emotional independence was really, really valuable to me because I was constantly depending on other people to validate my experience, to validate my emotions, to make me feel emotionally safe and comfortable. And so once I was like, fuck, okay, I have a goal. My goal is to stop doing that. My goal is to be enough for myself, etc., etc. When I started relying on others, like let's say I'm having an emotional reaction, I call my bestie and I'm like, hey, please help. Like, I don't know what to do. Da, 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 da. And then I start judging myself. I'm like, fuck, I shouldn't have called her. Like, I should have been able to work through that myself. Like, da, 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 da. I should have been able to give myself the emotional validation or balance that I needed. And it's like, okay, stop. You wanted bestie. That's what you wanted. Why is that a bad thing? And I would start judging those thoughts. And so then I would get to a point where I'm like, okay, I'm really, really not okay right now. And I want to call bestie, but I'm not gonna. Okay, why not? Well, because if I call her, then I'm telling myself that I can't do this by myself, and I'm essentially not going to achieve the level of healing that I want to achieve within the timeline that I want to achieve it. It's like, okay, so what I just said was that if I go get the emotional support that I want right now, I will not get where I want to be. Why am I threatening myself? Why am I saying that to myself? Why am I placing so much value on the simple thought of, I want emotional support right now? Like, of course you do. You're a human. Go get you some. Like, it's okay. So stop placing value on it and instead find the balance, find the neutrality. Oh my God, I'm having a big emotional reaction. I really want bestie. My immediate thought is, I also really want to be emotionally independent. Okay, how can both of these things be valid, fair, true, and okay for me to experience at the same time? Well, I'm human, so of course I want bestie. I'm human, so of course I want emotional support. I'm also like obsessed with self growth and healing, so of course I want to achieve emotional independence. And of course I want to do that as quickly as possible because I'm a fucking fire sign and I want to do everything as quickly as possible. Okay, these things are both okay. These things can both live inside of me as things that I want. I can want things that contradict each other, even, and that's okay. And neither is good, neither is bad. They're just different timelines, different choices, different feelings, different emotions. And then I start to be able to breathe again. I'm like, okay, there's multiple things happening within inside of me, and that's okay. Some of them contradict each other, and that's okay. In this moment, would it be self love to confine myself and try to work this out between me and my journal? Or would it be self love to call bestie? And it's a different answer every time. Okay. So that is a little refresher for that tool of would it be self love to blank? Okay. All right. Let's see. What else did I want to explain to you? Oh, the other thing that I wanted to explain to you is the concept of no mind. It is a concept spoken about in the book called The Power of Now. I have not finished the book, but so far phenomenal and I'm loving it. The author talks about no mind, and I am going to give you my understanding / interpretation of it. If you want to read the book, go ahead. It's very helpful. But this is touching a little bit on what I talked about in the last episode, where I mentioned my concept of observing thoughts and not identifying with them, and my concept of separating my mind and my body when I'm experiencing thoughts that I don't want to identify with or resonate with. Okay. So, no mind is the place in your mind where there's nothing going on. The place in your mind where there's literally just silence, your ability to access silence, your ability to access nothingness. Most of us will experience teeny tiny little spurts of it. Like, try for a sec. Try to think about nothing right now. Go. I got like half a second of silence. That was crazy. I don't know how you did, but keep trying it. It's a great exercise. And people do this through mindfulness meditations where they try to focus only on their breathing. You try to clear your mind of every and all thought on your mind. One thing I do is I imagine a big black chalkboard with like a bunch of white chalk written on it. And then I like imagine an eraser erasing everything on the whiteboard and then, or on the blackboard. And then it's like silence, like there's nothing on my mind. And it lasts for like 3 seconds. So that's like a tool that you can use. The concept of no mind, though, is that you're accessing the place of silence. And as you, again, you probably should read the book, The Power of Now. It's very helpful. I have not finished it, but it's supposed to get you there. It's supposed to. So we'll see how that works. But the author basically talks about like the more you practice the tools and implement the stuff, like the longer periods of time you will experience no mind for, and you'll be able to truly stop identifying with your thoughts, which is super fucking cool. One thing that the author talks about is how people will fail to reach this state of no mind because we are so used to and accustomed to our thoughts, the constant narrative in our head, that we actually don't even like understand who we would be without our thoughts. Like, who are you without your thoughts? Because you are not your thoughts. You're literally not your thoughts. Like, that's not who you are. But who are you? We've been identifying with our thoughts for 20 years, 30 years, 40, 50 years, whatever it is. Who are you without your thoughts? Who are you if you separate yourself from your thoughts? Who are you? And I realized that if I were to separate myself from my thoughts and not identify with them, who would I be? I would be peace. That would be fucking sick. And so the more that I started removing my identity with my thoughts and separating my mind space from my like body and existence space, I started experiencing so much more peace. So that's kind of what I was referring to in the last episode. And a good way through this is you can take little moments to exercise and try to think of nothing and access a space of no mind, a space of peace, a space of silence. And you can also work on observing your thoughts rather than identifying with them. Like, oh, that's an interesting thought. I accept that that's something I'm thinking right now. Okay, moving on. It doesn't mean anything about me. It's not who I am. It's just how a part of me is thinking or a part of me is feeling. Okay, next. And it really silences things. And then, you can do the cloud method that I talked about, in one ear, out the other, the sticks floating down the stream. These are all great tools to help kind of get you there to access this no mind concept that the author talks about in The Power of Now. So that I found to all be extremely fucking helpful. One thing I also want to mention to you, because a lot of this challenge has to do with not beating yourself up, and it has to do with accepting yourself. And it's really, really easy to beat ourselves up for beating ourselves up. Like, oh, I was doing such a good job at not judging myself and not beating myself up. I was doing such a good job of taking care of myself and accepting myself and being kind to myself. And just now I caught a really negative thought. I caught a really mean thought. I caught a really judgmental thought. I'm like, oh, I thought I was doing good. Now, obviously not doing as good as I was. Okay, first of all, thought cycle right there that we have no control over. That will happen. You will have those thoughts, but catch them, notice them, and stop them. Be like, okay, I just noticed that I was beating myself up. I'm not going to beat myself up about beating myself up about beating myself up. I'm just going to fucking stop beating myself up. I'm going to notice that I was judging myself. I'm going to notice that I was being critical. I'm going to notice that I was beating myself up, and I'm going to say, oh, oops, okay, I'm not going to keep doing that. That's okay. Of course I did that. I'm human. We all do that. That's okay. Moving on. So just like a really quick reminder, do not beat yourself up, guilt yourself, or shame yourself for beating yourself up, guilting, and shaming yourself, because it's just part of the human experience. You're going to do it, but we're learning how to recognize it. We're learning how to move past it, and we're learning how to move through it. I believe that that is essentially all of my notes that I wanted to go over with you today to sort of help recenter you in your challenge for the next week and offer any clarity or advice or guidance that you might need. I'm very, very excited to keep going down this path of self-love and self-image with you, because I have a lot more to share with you. This first 2-week challenge is like where you want to start, because it's laying the groundwork for everything else that we're going to do. And ultimately, I mean, our whole goal here is to create a reality that you like being in and achieve the thing that you want the most right now. An example is money, a aligned relationship, or a feeling of inner peace and happiness. Maybe you want to manifest a new house or a new car, whatever it is, right? That's our goal. But we're going to get there through the foundations of self-love, because you cannot fix a problem from the same energy it was created from. And you the drama, sister, you the drama. So we're going to fix the drama, and then we're going to fix the life, okay? It's all going to loop around, I promise. So Thank you so much for listening. Make sure that you like, follow, subscribe, rate the podcast. If you're on Spotify, please rate it, give it 5 stars. That's so fucking helpful. If you made it this far in the episode, I want you to comment a yellow heart, and I want you to add headphones, like a headphone emoji, if you are doing the challenge and if this was helpful. Okay. Feel free to comment questions. You can also go to my website and go to the request a podcast section, and you can input questions or things that you want to hear me talk about or do an episode on. You can also email me your questions, Danielle Rose at thecenteredsoulco.com. My website is literally thecenteredsoulco.com. And also, if you're on this journey and you want to go deeper, if you're on this journey and you're like, yes, but like, what's next and what's specific to me? And I've been doing that, but this part's not working. That is your sign to book a session. Let's work together one-on-one. I will guide and mentor you through this whole thing, and I will channel for you from your higher self, from your spirit team, exactly what it is that you need to be doing. I'll read it in your chakras. Where exactly are the sticky spots for you, and how exactly can we get that all looped in, put together in a neat little package that's like an ABC 1, 2, 3 step by step for you right now. Healing is not an ABC 1, 2, 3 step by step, but little pieces of it can be, and I can get that for you if we're doing one-on-one work. So I'm always here for that. If you want to book with me, you can do so on my website. Again, thank you so much for listening. Your support means absolutely everything to me. I sincerely hope that this episode was helpful. As always, I am your host, Danielle Rose, highly intuitive psychic, Reiki energy healer, and your guide for mental, emotional, and energetic healing. You can think of me like your psychic therapist, not a therapist, but using psychic and psychology tools to guide you down your healing journey. I hope that this episode brought you one step closer to achieving a centered soul.